must confess, Miss Sicci, I have no idea what this case is about. Absolutely none. I tried to read your complaint. I tried to read their answer. It's a bumble jumble of craziness. What the main point of your case is that the two defendants came into possession of two iPhones that belonged to you.
Yes, that is correct. One of them was actually a Samsung, though.
And sold them.
That is correct, yes.
And you acknowledge that you... Stop shaking your head. You look ridiculous. You acknowledge that you sold the phones. I read your answer. And you acknowledge that you sold phones that were not yours. Not uh-huh. Uh-huh, it is a yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's take, at this point, as a fact, that the phones belong to the plaintiff. So you're going to tell me how you came into possession of the phones and why you sold them. To whom and for how much?
Your Honor, the whole thing was Edward had came...
Who's Edward? Raise your hand. That's you. Edward?
Edward Flynn...
Had come.
Had come in to talk to us, and he did not feel safe at Brandy Sicci's place.
So this young man came to talk to you.
Yes.
And said, I don't feel safe at the plaintiff's house. You knew each other. I don't care how you knew each other. Actually, I really don't. And when he said, I don't feel safe at Miss Sicci's house, you said you can come to our house?
Yes.
So Edward came to your house, and?
He had asked if he could stay with us because he did not feel safe at Brandy Sicci's place for the simple fact that Justin Vinson...
Justin, raise your hand. That's you. Yes.
Had already shot him with the BB in his leg.
So he said, I don't feel safe because he shot him. He doesn't look petrified now, but he came to your house and said, I want to stay with you. Okay. So you let him stay in your house, and? Yes.
And after the first night, Brandy would not stop calling and texting, saying she wants his phone back.
Did you have her phones?
Yes, Your Honor, but it... yes, Your Honor. But it was in the condition that we had a roommate agreement.
Oh, no. Don't get...
Oh.
You had her phone?
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you get the phone?
He handed it to us.
One phone? What kind of phone?
It was a Samsung, and the iPhone X came from Montana.
Who was that?
Last I knew, it was Edward's fiance.
Did you have an almost fiance whose name was Montana?
She was my ex-girlfriend.
Did Montana have an iPhone?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you know where she got it from?
Brandy Sicci.
So Montana gave you her phone?
Yes.
And Edward gave you his phone?
Gave my husband his phone.
And you knew at that time that the phones belonged to her?
Yes, Your Honor, but
Good.
at the same time, Edward and Montana both said the phones were a gift from...
Just a second. You knew the phones belonged to her. She had paid for them?
Yes.
And you sold them?
Yes.
To whom? You knew the phones belonged to her. She had paid for them?
Yes.
And you sold them?
Yes.
To whom?
The iPhone X we had sold to 360 Wireless on the boulevard between Nampa and Caldwell.
How much?
It was for... oh, boy.
It was for $293.
How much did you pay for the phones?
So I paid full price for them. I paid sales tax, and they were on a monthly payment plan.
Do you have the bills?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at them. Miss Sicci, did you ever ask them for the phones back?
Multiple times, yes. And I do have text message records of that.
I'd like to see it.
Here we go.
Thank you. Yeah, they have to return my phones. And you sold them. Well, you can't sell them. You owe her $1,675. That's what she paid for both phones. Got it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect. We're done.
Your Honor.
Your Honor.
We did do a counterclaim.
Oh, I know. For harassment, because she's bothering
stalking.
you. She's bothering you.
And
you shouldn't have sold her phones. We're done.
Your Honor, may I please say something?
I'm going to say it one more time. Maybe you can't hear me. You shouldn't have sold her phones. We're done.